Hello, hello. I'm going to do some setup for a few minutes, so in the future, feel free to jump ahead a few minutes. Alright, setup is almost complete. We'll officially begin a little bit after 6. And we'll see if we have to split this up. We'll figure out how much we can fit in a 3-hour period. Oh boy. There we go. Got shot up. Hope my link is working. Yeah, it really does look like it's working, so I'm not gonna worry about it. I've got my water here for the night, a little bit of a snack. I try to stay more hydrated than I have been, because I was very hydrated during the period of time where I was not feeling very well. And then I went back, like, just only 2 days. It's only been a couple of days. Where I just, like, I did not want to drink water for some reason. But now I'm back to being thirsty again. typically, doesn't take much to convince me to drink a lot of water. When I'm thirsty, I just want water. But yeah, it was just strange. The last couple of days, I'm like, I just don't feel like it. For reasons I don't know. But I've been feeling 100% better since I've had to cancel that one stream. Has it been a week now? I think it's been officially 1 week. Maybe a little over a week. I can't remember. Everything's gone in a haze. Anyways, I've been feeling so much better, but so I chanced spicy food today, just a little bit. I knew, like, I was like, I'm not going straight for hot spicy noodles. Yeah, that one little bit of chili sauce that I just very daintily dipped my food in sent me to the bathroom, so that's not good. But I'm back to not having to only eat sandwiches and soup. I can now eat a more variety of things, including fruits. I've been missing my fruits and vegetables. So, let's see. I did send out a message to TSA to see if anybody would be online for the raid, since, you might notice I changed the title, because when I was looking at it, I'm like, well, this isn't solo mode. What we are doing right now is totally off the rails. We're not doing solo mode anymore. So I was like, I'm going to change it to raid mode. We're doing raid mode, not solo mode. And, because this content is 100% player base only. You cannot do this with trust. You cannot do it with duty support. It'd be so hilarious if you could. One day, if they add duty support into this, I will be the first one lined up to do it. But, that may actually mean that they would have to change how some of the raid fights are done. So, a bit of background on Alexander, which is the raid we'll be doing tonight. We're not doing Savage. First of all, I don't even meet the eye level requirement. Second of all, I do hope this will be enough. Actually, wait, can I did earn a little bit. What do I need? I need like a hat. Oh gosh, these boots have to go. Yeah, you know, when you have a fresh character like this, I'm so spoiled by my main account where I cannot get rid of my poetics fast enough. But then you get on accounts like these where it's like you've only done like a few of the dungeons, and I'm gonna prioritize boots. I should have enough for both. But yeah, you just sit there and be like, oh, I don't have a ton of poetics to be spending on, like, everything. There we go, that's pretty good. I like that. And yeah, the katanas are a really important part of it. So, Alexander. This raid series was particularly rough back in the day. I was there nearly for every single first day release. So how it originally went is the base Heavensward was released. That would be the part where we hadn't gotten into 3.1 or any of the patches yet. And, I think it was just a couple of months later, or I typically raids drop just to, like, to give people some time. Well, I should say it's mostly Savage mode, so... Well, they're saying it was 3.0, so this might have dropped at the time of Heavensward's release, so... But I do remember being there, mostly as fresh and new as this content could be. So Savage Mode, which would be the tier after this one we're about to showcase, it's really supposed to be pretty difficult and beyond, I should say, most players' reach. It certainly was beyond mine. I don't typically do Savage content. If I do, it's never racing for world first, or even close to that. I do like watching it. You might have heard me talk about the Kefka fight that happened a couple weeks back. I was keeping an eye on who was doing first world clear and stuff like that, but I won't go into some of the controversies that go into the first world clear, because truthfully, I don't really find that drama to be touching in my world. Like, it doesn't touch upon what I do with my content, you know? But, back in the day, this raid nearly broke Final Fantasy XIV for the first time since 1.0. I should say there was many things that were going on in this era that were making the game pretty rough. I should say, as myself, doing content with my friends, the hardest content I was doing, I was trying to clear things like Bismarck EX, Ravana EX, and then of course I was doing the normal mode of these raids. I never really particularly saw much fault with it, other than I knew that I was having difficulties with it, and it was frustrating, but mostly, what I was crying any tears over, really, was the player base. The player base was getting a bit toxic. It was really hard not to feel like you were going to get shouted down in some sort of, dungeon or whatever. There was, I think, some mentality in 2015, 2016, which is this era, where online play was just kind of like that. Things have evolved over time where I see less and less of it. It's always out there, but yeah. But anyways, luckily I always have my friends around to help me clear things, so it's like I just usually got over it. But nowadays this content is nothing like how I remember it. First of all, it's very easy to clear nowadays. We're gonna see as I enter in. It's going to be a little bit of a cakewalk. That still doesn't mean that there may not be some wiping. I should clear some terminology. Wipe in an MMO like this means that everybody on the field dies. So you have to wipe the board clean and go back and start over. So there are still a few fights that I know looking forward towards that, where I'm like, I don't know, sometimes it can be a toss-up if that fight's actually going to be difficult or not, simply because there's still some weird mechanics in some of these fights that don't quite intuitively make sense. It gives me a little bit of thought of hopefully one day they might come in and tweak some of these fights. I still think they need to focus on A Realm Reborn. I'll admit, so this popped up because I am delaying for time to do Binding Coil of Bahamut. And if you watched Larks and I's stream on his channel, Binding Coil of Bahamut isn't quite soloable unless you were max level like we were at the time. I believe we were level 80 or something. So Binding Coil is something that I have to figure out how to do with Yorva. and I'm not quite yet to the point where I can figure out how to do it. I can just go in and clear it with some randos, but let me tell you, nobody's really going into this duty finder, and like nobody's really doing these raids right now. At max level, you can just waltz in, clear it all, and not have to worry. Gosh, the average item level is 82 for this one, so possibly I could solo it at level 60. I did try, it did not go very well. It went better than I expected, but I think I can't really do it very well with samurai, so I might have to call on some help from some friends to just waltz in there, help me clear it, and so the reason why I bring up Binding Coil is that the next couple of patches that are about to hit will feature Alize, and there are two pathways with Alize. One is if you have done Binding Coil of Bahamut, and therefore you have hung out with Alize and actually got to know her. And then there is the other path where you did not do Binding Coil of Bahamut, and you and Alize are still essentially strangers in the plot line. I still haven't decided which one I really do want to showcase with Yorva. I do think, of course, if you do Binding Coil of Bahamut, you get a much richer cutscene in these next couple of patches. But you know, it might be interesting to showcase the other ones, since I know in Larks and Zuyaya's playthrough, we have definitely done Binding Coil Bahamut, so therefore, you know, if we ever get to that point, we will be getting that cutscene with Alize, where it just differs a little bit in, is Warrior of Light actually familiar with Alize, or is Warrior of Light literally doing that lady where she's doing calculations in her brain? Because if you don't do Binding Coil Bahamut, there was really only one instance in A Realm Reborn where you really even interacted with Alize. It just base Realm Reborn, Alize doesn't really even say much of a word to you, so you probably don't even know what her voice sounds like. So yeah, that's the Binding Coil of Bahamut conundrum I'm having right now, is to do it or not do it. I had talked with Larks for a long time about this, but we have always wondered why they have not thrown Binding Coil Bahamut into some sort of duty support thing. I do think they might be working on it, because why not? And also, typically people aren't, how should I say it? They're not duty finder, they're not doing duty finder with these raids. The duty finder they're going to be doing is like the Crystal Tower raids or mock raids or something like that. So maybe one day we can do a solo of Binding Coil Bahamut, but they don't have that feature just yet. But the other reason why I do think they should prioritize Binding Coil over Alexander is Binding Coil actually has main story ties, and can, like I just described, it can affect the cutscenes that you have in the course of doing the main story quest. But it's not so important that you gotta go rush out and do it. So, anyways, I've ranted long enough to buy myself some time. So, I'm gonna be starting the raid for Alexander here, and I also wanted to say, as much as I was like, Binding Coil Bahamut does have ties back to the main story quest, Alexander does too, to some degree. There are some parts of the story of Final Fantasy XIV that might make a bit more sense if you have knowledge of what's going on with Alexander, but it's not terribly important. It's just, again, a lot of these quests add a lot more flavor and give you some recognition if some other stuff comes out, and it's really fun. So, another thing about Alexander is a primal in this game, and as we know, primals are usually summoned by beast tribes, or they're now calling them societies, because, you know, beast tribes is a little bit... Eorzea is racist and called them beast tribes until they were like, maybe beast tribes being racist against them. So we call them societies. But, so in Goblin Society, they don't really worship a god. They are very more interested in tinkering with their steampunk machines. They're very more technology based, and they love coming up with cool little gadgets and stuff like that. They're inventors, first and foremost. So Alexander really isn't worshipped by the goblins, and in fact, we're gonna find out that Alexander was mostly summoned by one goblin who had a really good imagination, I should say. So, but what we know about primals, they require a lot of crystals, they require a lot of prayer, and then one is formed through, you know, thoughts and prayers, and tons of crystals. So, somehow this guy got summoned out in the middle of the Thaliac River outside, and, Sid, as we recall, was right around here in this encampment. I think Y'shtola might have been, too. He was just, like, out here chatting with them, and then slowly Alexander starts rising out of the water here, and he's just, like, put that thing back where it came from, or so. He starts shouting at them like, don't touch that, that's a primal, you guys. We don't know exactly who he was shouting at exactly, so... That cutscene on this stream happened like, what, weeks ago? So I'm just reminding that Sid was out there, that thing budged, and he was yelling at the goblins like, you guys stop it. You need to stop that right now. So, oh yeah, I gotta put the bagpipes were a little bit loud, so... Is this all good now? You just mostly heard my voice for a long time. But now we're gonna have the music back. You know, the music's a lot nicer at night. During the morning, it's just like, everybody get your bagpipes out, line the walls, and then they just blast you with a bunch of bagpipes. Is Uplander seeing it? Giant of iron rising from river? Yorva's like, I don't think I saw it, but I think I got a phone call from Sid that was just him yelling. Y'shtola and Sid leave to learn more, but are not back yet. Greatest plight of Gobbyfock. Giant is too big, can squash Idleshire flat. Where are Uplanders? I like that he's just like, we gotta solve this, like, right now. It's like, okay, hold on. Calm yourself, Slowfix. There she is. It's like, we had a plot line and everything, and, you know. Ah, you are, but 'tis well you were here. For our need is dire. A colossus of steam and steel has risen from the Thaliac. Yet it is no mere forgotten contrivance of Charlayan. The resultant etheric disturbance confirms that it is a primal, and that it was summoned amidst the ruins left for the river to reclaim. For a mercy, it stopped dead no sooner than it had broken the water's surface, but so long as it remains in our realm, it may spring to life again at any moment. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good, like, everybody's just sitting there like, maybe it just won't move again. Maybe we just leave it alone. I don't know. Yes, but what does Uplander find near Idleshire? Is wilderness still heavy with ether? Nay, the ether grows perilously thin, and more swiftly than I could imagine. The primal is bleeding the land dry. Should it be suffered to continue, this entire region will become as a barren waste in a matter of moons. No! Gobbyfuck has only just found home after long wanderings. Idleshire will not fall. Slowfix will not allow it. And nor will we, because this is our damn job. I have already spoken with Alfino, and he concurs that we Scions of the Seventh Dawn must do all in our power to eliminate the threat. Yet, given its size, I deem it wise to attack from two fronts. I like that Alfino was consulted, but he is like, yeah, you guys got it, right? I got a lot to do, back in Ishgard. Be reminded that around this time, Alfino's probably, like, back in Ishgard dealing with the whole Estinian thing, and, you know, Aymeric getting stabbed, assassinated, all of that shit. Meanwhile, like, Warrior of Light is doing all of these things, but, you know. Our first and most obvious recourse is to keep our foe in check with blade and magic. That's where Yorva's like, she's like slowly falling asleep a little bit, and then she's like, blade, and she's like, you have my blade. Much as we have done with other such adversaries. Warrior of Light has to be at this moment, like, who else do you call upon? Second, I propose that we attempt to cut off the flow of ether which sustains it, mayhap by physically separating the primal from the land. Okay, but that thing is like the size of a building or more. If we are to be rid of the Colossus, I think the latter course more promising, and mean to enlist Master Matoya's aid in pursuing it. I like that she's just like, if we just take Alexander and push it somewhere else, that is the better, that's the better course. Yet such things take time. Don't you say? Thus, I have asked Master Garland to remain here and keep watch over our foe. And that's funny, because she's like, Sid, stay here. And he's just like, what am I gonna do? Throw my wrench at it? Given its apparently mechanical nature, his expertise should prove invaluable to you. To you, I say, for I would leave the fate of Idleshire in your hands. No pressure. Should the primal chance to stir ere my return, you are to join Sid in repelling it. An unenviable task, but one for which you are singularly qualified. Yorva's like, my resume is pretty thick with primal killings. It's getting thicker by the day. Rest assured, I do not mean to linger with Master Matoya any longer than necessary, because she's crabby and old. The moment we find a solution, I shall hasten to rejoin you here. Well then, let us be about our duties. I will leave you to discuss strategies with Sid. Bactrix is keeper of knowings for Idleshire, can say where Sid has gone. Uplander should start with Bactrix. Okay. I like that Yorva, like, just stays there and then just stares at Slowfix. So if you cross, Slowfix was part of that quest line where we were, when we were first here trying to find Matoya. And then again we were trying to find Thancred, but, he's Brayflox's, friend or special friend. I think it was just friend. But I could ship them, maybe. Like, you know, Brayflux is, of course, like, the sexiest goblin in all of the realm, so... I think she deserves, like, some sort of golden retriever boyfriend or something like that. I don't know. Hit me up on your pains. Slow fix golden retriever boyfriend material. Bactrix. Beckrix is keeper of knowings and data. Oh, you've already been told that. Well, I like to introduce myself that way, so you're gonna be told again. What does Uplander wish to learn about? Ah, Uplander comes in search of Sid, yes? Well, he was here, and then he wasn't here. And now he's back again. My thanks for sharing your knowings, Beckrix. These Illuminati are indeed most hostile. Ah, you're our old friend. You haven't seen Y'shtola, have you? Well, about that. I'm here at her behest. Drained of all ether... to shreds, you say. Drained of all ether in a matter of mere moons? 7 hells! How much power does that thing need? It's only the size of a building. Too much, plainly. Well, it sounds as if we had an urgent dismantling job on our hands. From what Beckrix has been telling me, the Illuminati are the most likely culprits. They have the knowledge to summon a primal, and their exquisite short-sightedness not to think better of it. That's a dangerous combination. Fanatical captures their philosophy nicely, I think. Their goal being nothing less than sole ownership of all the world's technology. Oh god. And Sid's like, I'm gonna have words about that. Needless to say, they're more than willing to kill anyone who stands between them and what they want. Okay, I just want to pause here. What the fuck do the Illuminati think they're gonna do? Like, that's world domination. Because first of all, getting over just having to conquer Eorzea, Ishgard, well, I guess Ishgard is part of Eorzea, going on to Alamigo, and then having to contend with one of the most technologically advanced countries, which is the Garlean Empire. Plus Charlayan, which is across the sea, and they are also pretty technologically advanced, but they're not keen on sharing. I just want to know how they think that that's ever going to work in their favor. Sid's like, well, quite how they managed to coax a primal into the hulk of a Charlayan defense mechanism, I don't know. So Charlayan was partially responsible for this, because they left some shit behind that they shouldn't have. Why didn't they clean up their mess? Now we got a primal on our hands. This is how you get ants. But quite how they managed to coax a primal into the hulk of a Charlayan defense mechanism, I don't know. But it looks like they've made themselves a tiny little fortress inside the Colossus. We'll need to contend with them if we are to disable the thing. As for the task itself, simply destroying whatever serves as its engine should do the trick. I like that Sid's like, as somebody who is very knowledgeable about technology, my advice is to hit the engine until it explodes and dies. Assuming it is in fact mechanical and not magical and not like, you know, just a god. But before all that, we'll need to find a way in through yet another bloody barrier. He's gotta be sick and tired of barriers at this point. He's like the one guy in all of the world where they're like, we have a barrier, Sid, and he's like, oh my god, okay. This is like the 3rd one I've had to contend with. Barrier is not new. Rose up 3 years ago after ground made shivery shakes. Ruin was freed from riverbed then. Roundrox was there. Saw with own 2 eyes. Who's Roundrox? Roundrox? Sorry, who is... Daughter of Slowfix. Oh gosh. He's already fucked, guys. I didn't realize that. That's okay. Brightflocks can have a free stepdaughter. This is an even better fanfiction. I'm just saying. Roundrox loves junk more than all other gobbies. Was collecting then, and is playing now. Look. Shiny junk and shiny sparkly rocks, bitty bobs and whirly cogs. These are a few of my favorite things. Sid's like, sorry for interrupting this sound of music, but, I need to ask you a question, Roundrux. When the ground shook 3 years ago, did something come bobbing up to the river's surface? Bobbing? Nothing bobbed, silly uplander. Ground made shivery shakes when giant of whirlycogs stood. And then magic walls came up too. So it wasn't the tremor that freed the Colossus, it was the Colossus which caused the tremor. And you're absolutely certain you saw it rise from the waters, young one. Seven hells. I think someone tried and failed to summon it 3 years ago. But was it the Illuminati or... Braveflux comes to trade tongue flaps, Uplander. I'm ready to be the main character. Ah, just the goblin. Slowfix tells me you're his resident expert on Illuminati. Pardon me a moment while I consult with my fellow Uplander. Yorva, just go now. She knows how much she talks. Okay, it's okay. Yorva, if I may make a suggestion, I'll speak with Braveflux and learn what I can of our opponents. In the meantime, could you investigate the Colossus itself? Just like go up there and just like knock on it 3 times. Biggs and Wedge are near where its hand landed on the shore of the Thaliac. Join them and see if you can't find a way inside the machine. Oh, and good luck with that barrier, cause I'm done with barriers. You already got 2 out of me. I'm sure that was nobody important right there. Oh gosh. Immediately there's fate. So, as what was explained there, Alexander's been here. I should say, whatever the heck this thing that Charlene made, it's some sort of really giant colossus. Again, I want to know what they're just like, yeah, let's make this huge castle of an automaton right here. And then when they all had to up and leave, they're like, hey, do you think we should do something about that? And they're like, no, we can't cart that across the ocean. I'm sure it'll be fine, just leave it. And then some goblins are like, what if we shoved a god inside of this thing? Oh, so... Yorva, come to see the Colossus, eh? She's like, well, it's kind of hard not to. Look how huge it is. The chief was looking for a way in. Of course, there's a bleeding barrier around the thing. Aye, another one. Oh, you've already heard his complaints. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're done with the barrier bit then. Luckily for us, when the big feller came down, its hand clamped onto the shore here, punching a hole in its defenses, and leaving that round portal there unprotected. Only trouble is, it's locked, and nobody has a key. So, for want of a better idea, Wedge is listening into Illuminati link pearl communications in hopes that they'll mention the trick to opening it. Oh, Yorva knows this trick. It's like how you open up the jelly jar when it's too, like, stuck tight. Dee-da, dee-da, dee-dee. Ah. There's only one signal coming from inside the giant. And it's always the same pattern. Does anybody know Morse code? Did we invent that? Do we have Morse code? Wedge is just turning around like, does Eorzea have Morse code? Is that a thing? Can we be the ones to invent that? I'm certain it's a code. The Illuminati beat us to it. They've always used coded messages. From what I hear, they developed a special kind of crystal, specifically for transmuting link pearl waveforms. Ah, Wedge, they did. They invented Morse code before we could. If we could get our hands on one, Chief's decoding machine here should theoretically be able to use it to untangle the meaning. Quite where we'd find such a crystal is another matter. Hi, it's Red Bricks. Do you know me? Does Uplander know Roundrox? She makes great collection of junks and things. Maybe he's keeping Crystal at shortstop? Yorva's like, oh, I was just there. You mean I have to go all the way back? Wouldn't that be a stroke of luck, though? And it just so happens I've been working on a means of identifying the crystal in question. Here, Yorva, takes this 3G7001B. It's the new Wi-Fi password. Sprinkle that powder over this so-called collection and look for anything that glimmers. It should contain the material we need. You may have to borrow one of Roundrox's treasures, but I'm sure she won't mind if you tell her it's for a good cause. I don't know, Wedge. She seems like she's maybe 12 or something. It's kind of hard to tell goblin ages. Yeah, they're really going to make me backtrack. I, once again, haven't collected the ether currents. I'm working on it, though, slowly. I think it is only the Gervanian hinterlands, because I did just do Sea of Clouds today. I've just been going through, with the monk class, because I was going to try to use it as a XP soaker. When you get to these points where they're handing out XP where they normally wouldn't have if you were max level at the time, because there was no levels to be gained after that, I take another class and I use it to just kind of soak up some XP, but you know, it hasn't been too bad. I only went one level over during Heaven's Ward quest. Here's treasure trove of Roundrox, but it's secret from big gobbies. Yorva's like, you might as well, can you like, how old are you? What can I trade with a 12-year-old? Amongst the jumble of bits and bobs, you spy a faintly glimmering stone. Hold on a minute. Is that music like cutting up for anybody else? I don't know, that's strange. I was getting some, like, major audio stuttering there for a minute. It's slowly going away, though. I'm not hearing it very much right now. I was worrying that I haven't,
That's strange. I was getting some,
That was my stream. I had it to check out the noise. But, I haven't seen any weirdness from the server since that one time. Whoa, what is Uplander doing? Sneaky taker! Yeah, I can't... Yorva, don't just reach your hand in. Treasure belongs to Roundrox! Look, you see the big thingy out there? Uplander needs it? For a giant of whirly cogs? But... But glowstone is most favorite treasure of Round Rocks. Everything else is kind of gray and rusted. Alright, but Uplander must promise to bring it back, or Round Rocks is getting very angry. I will bring it back. I promise. Yeah, that's gotta suck. Like, the coolest looking thing in her arsenal is, like, the one thing we need. But it's a good thing she knows how to share. Slowfix is a good father, he raised her right. Like, I can only imagine if somebody had to come up to me and be like, I need to borrow your Lisa Frank poster of the Dalmatian dogs. And I'd be like, no, that's like the coolest thing I own. Alexander is looking pretty cool here, though, with his head? Question mark? And then, like, the one hand just sticking out of the ground here. Ah, Yorva. No burns, I see. Huh? Oh, no reason. So, I didn't hand you highly radioactive material. Why would I do that? Tell me, did the 3G7001B reveal anything? Here you go. Thank you, and you have my word that I'll give this back to Rondrox when I finish with it. I would not want the ire of a 12-year-old. Now, let us take a listen to what the Illuminati are really saying. Goodness, all that infernal beeping is gone. Now it's a message, clear as day. Let's see. Today's schedule for Gordias, registration at 7th bell. Stop. Laos the Curl Cobes at 3rd bell. Stop. Rest and recuperation at 2nd bell. Repeat. Today's schedule for Gordias. Coerlosing? But I'm sure that was the only message. This has to be some sort of jest. Don't be daft, Wedge. It's just another code. We need the proper crystal and the proper knowledge to understand it. Bleeding Illuminati. Should have known it wouldn't be so easy. Who would have guessed that they would have also been speaking in code in the first place? Quite the conundrum you have there. It's a Kingdom Hearts character. But it's your lucky day. I'll crack the code, assuming we can come to a little arrangement. Man, to have her scales though, like, I want to have blue, gradient, aqua, like, scales like that. Maybe with the new character customization we will. Oh my gosh. Anyways. I'm a treasure hunter by trade, and yes, I know my scales are the most beautiful of this game. Stop looking. And there's a certain something I want inside the giants. I help you get inside, and you help me get out with it. A fair deal, no? My name's Mead, by the way. Charmed, I'm sure, but we are suspicious of any random stranger that comes up to us. That's, you know, in these circumstances. But also, you are aware that the interior is almost certainly swarming with Illuminati, yes? Why do you think I came to you? There's strength in numbers, friend. As we join forces, yeah? Now, the words you intercepted are largely gibberish, but paired with the numbers, well, you see, 7, stop 3, stop 2, wasn't it? You, the big one. See the pipes atop the hatch? There ought to be a valve up there with a hand wheel. Imagine it's like a clock. And try turning it to 7, right to 7, left to 3, and then back to 2. You've messed with a safe before, right? Ah, we did it! We actually did it! Alright, well. Superhero landing! Wasn't that cool? Sid's like, alright, stop showing off. We're here to throw our wrenches at things, not do superhero poses. So the Illuminati have been announcing the way to enter the Colossus all along. Strange. Well done for cracking the code, anyway. I had less success, sadly. I'm afraid Brayflocks know little more than we do about the Illuminati's plan or the Primal. I did learn a lot about cheese, though, and I can't get that hour of my life back. Come, things aren't as bad as all that. We found a way inside the machine. We'll have to learn about it as we go. It's only a massive mammoth, after all, that can crush us very easily. Stopping it should be as simple as destroying its core. If we send in a suitably intrepid team of surveyors, I don't see why we can't trace the machine's power back to the source via the struts and piping. You do know what struts and piping are, right, Yorva? And Yorva's like, pipe? And I know just the woman to lead the party, and she's still like, pipe? I know pipe. What say you, Yorva? She's like, I don't know a thing about machines, but I do know a lot about smashing them. And what of me, pray tell? I opened the way for this grand expedition of yours. Surely that's earned me a place in your little band to hunt for my treasure. He's like, I don't even know who you are. I walked up and you look strange. You did as you promised, and you may do as you will now, but only so long as the treasure you hunt doesn't endanger the mission. It's just like, you better not stab us in the back because I know how this goes. I'd join you if I could, but I left my stove on, but there's something else I need to see to first. I'll leave Biggs and Wedge here in case of emergencies. Good luck, my friend. So it's like, I don't fight. This is all you. Fist of the Father. Alright. So there will be a couple of fights, but... What is the eye level requirement? 170? Okay, so I'm good. Because I am almost 100 levels above that. Yeah, this will be okay. Because, wait, let me see. Yeah, I have most of the augmented Shire gear on. It's just the accessories, but even then, the primal set is not bad at all. I don't really need an XP boost, so I'm going to switch to that earring. If you take a note of the glowy etherite earring Yorva wears, that's just, oh gosh, what did that come with? With Deluxe Edition, or either through It's either through Deluxe Edition or pre-ordering. Which I think the pre-ordering bonuses for the games are usually mounts. So this might be Deluxe Edition. This is, I think, Shadowbringer's earring that they give you. Because for some reason, we didn't get one for Heavensward. The earring that we got for Heavensward doesn't really give you an XP bonus, but we got this Alamegan earring, I think, in Stormblood, and that finally gave you XP boosts for up to level 50. And then they skip level 60, so then the next one is with level 70 and below. Another fun fact about these things, because I'm just saving myself time while we wait in line. I was checking to make sure Hachi was online. I wasn't sure if Hachi was going to be here or not. So a little fun fact about these nice special earrings that you can get. These I'm not going to fact check myself, but I'm going to say that they came with deluxe editions of the games that are released. But they'll hand out an XP bonus earring that are very handy, especially if you have alternate classes. Because as you say, if you do one class in this game, you'll earn more XP than you'll know what to do with. But if you're like, you know, like I've been trying to level up Scholar and Paladin and Monk here, because that's just classes I think that would be neat. These come in handy, as well as the brand new ring that they hand out for this, so you can earn in-game. But that one's only for 30 and below. After that, it's not very useful. But, let's see if I can zoom in here. The Alamegan one is pretty cool. It's the symbol of the White Griffin, which is on the Alamigo flag. Looks like we get it on both ears. And then this side of the ear, there's like a little ear cuff. Actually, no, I think that's just my Yorva's settings. I think she has the ear cuff regardless, because I think if I try this one on... Yeah, so that ear cuff's just mine. I really like the Aetheryte earring. It glows in the dark too. That's where I've noticed it the most. When Yorva's like in the dark and you just see this little glowy bit. But that only appears on one side of the ear, not both ends. There is another one. Did I put it away somewhere? I don't think I have it on me. In my Chocobo saddlebag. There's one for levels 80 onwards, level 90. We should be, hopefully, unless they're changing things around so much. With the next expansion, Evercold, hopefully they'll hand us an earring where it gives you an XP bonus up to level 100. But right now, the XP bonus ends at level 90. Because the climb from 90 to level 100 is currently, what should I say, the current grind. And also not terribly difficult. Another thing most players may not know, intrinsically I guess, is that the more classes you have unlocked, or I should say the more classes you have unlocked and then also leveled to like level 50 or level 60 or level 70, for every class that reaches those milestones, you get an XP bonus that is permanent. So, like, let's say you have 3 classes at level 60. Any class that you're leveling from, like, level 1 to level 60, or from level 50 to level 60, are going to get an XP bonus that just stays with you for the rest of the game. So, like, current level cap if you have most of your classes at level 100, but you have a few that are like, I don't know, maybe at level 50, maybe at level 1. If you have most of your classes at level 100, holy crap, is the XP bonus, crazy. So, it's just kind of a way to help with the grind process of, like, the first class that you level up all the way to max level, which at this time is 100. So, like, let's say I take this class all the way to 100. Every single other class that comes after it will just be easier and then easier and then easier to level up. And it does not take as long of a grind to get there as it did with the first class. Even still, I utilize these earrings a whole lot because 30% XP bonus does stack pretty well over time. Other things you could benefit from are, of course, FC bonuses, food bonuses. Every food that you eat in this game always comes with a 3% XP bonus. Like, it does not matter what stats are attached to it. Doesn't matter if it's crafting and gathering, like this mutton stew here. Even though I won't gain anything from, GP or gathering stats here, it still will give me a 3% bonus. And sometimes when I'm not needing some of the many gathering dishes that they hand out in this game, I just eat it for the XP bonus alone and not care about the stats. Food is the best to utilize in, like, content such as this, where you need to have, like, a little bit of an edge. That bacon bread is not for me, but... So yeah, I remember the dragons. Vidolfnir was like, do you want some pasta? This might be helpful to utilize in the raid. Typically I don't really find the need to care about eating food before the raid, unless I know it's something very current and something that's going to give us a little bit of trouble, but honestly, no need for food unless you're doing Savage. Definitely bring your food to Savage. That's, like, pretty much needed. And probably bring it to EX fights. So, Extreme is difficult enough that utilizing it. But sometimes, like, hey, bring it out if you're simply just having trouble. Sometimes having that boost in, direct hit or something like that is exactly what you need to finish the fight. What else is there to talk about? Because I'm realizing that it's going to be a while, being a DPS, getting into Duty Fighter. Now, not many people are clamoring to do Alexander, so I have to sit here and probably wait as people do, well, I don't even have it on Duty Roulette, but underneath Alliance raids, there's 8-man raid content, the other kind of raid, Duty Finder, and typically that's how I do Alexander nowadays, is that I get thrown into it randomly via the Duty Finder. I don't know, maybe I should talk a little bit more about the goblins here. So we met the goblins officially in Realm Reborn. I think one of the first ones we ever really talked to... I mean, you can talk to plenty of them, especially if you start around in, like, Limsa Mensa. They're part of side quests and stuff like that. Mutamix, Bubbly Pots. Mutamix is the guy you go to whenever you need to take, showcasing my many materia. He loves to tinker with materia, and his Bubbly Pot is a materia melding... or I should say melting, pot of his where you can throw in various pieces of materia you've collected over time, and if you squish 5 of them together or melt all 5 of them, they could come back to be something of higher quality or with stats that you desire on it. Because it's like, okay, right now I'm not going to be using like piety or tenacity on this class, so maybe I should throw it in to his pot, see if I can come out with like, you know, maybe a direct hit or determination stat. I mean, at this point in the game, like, I'm not terribly concerned with attaching materia to my gear. It's simply just giving an added boost to stats. It's just one of those things where it's nice to have, not really required to have. Again, different if you're doing very difficult materials, you know, like savage raids, extreme fights, that sort of thing. I am also heading back to Idleshire because I do remember there's some goblins here that are also doing more experiments with materia and such. And one of them you can go to trade some of the, I think it's not dark matter. Oh, there's my queue. I got in. Well, I may not be going back there because I don't need to talk about the goblins much anywhere, but you'll create like these, you'll get these crystallized things sometimes as bonus rewards in Duty Finder, and you can go and trade materia with the goblins with it, or in later expansions there's other NPCs that will of course take those rare materials off your hands. They're literally just a currency to exchange for materia. Alright, this is the first fight of probably one of the most steampunk fights of Final Fantasy XIV. I do have some memories of going through this with friends and stuff like that. There's only a few fights where, oh, that's, we have at least 2 Lalafell. 2 adorable Lalafell tanks. I do remember, like, running through this and being like, whoa, this is cool, whatever. That being said, this fight is kind of boring, honestly. This again, like when I was doing these fights, like everything was so new and shiny and, you know, like, ooh, like, what's all this? And then like looking back on it, it's like, oh, there will be better raids than this. Again, personally, I didn't find too much problem with the Alexander raids. As we come across them, there will be a couple of fights where I have some pretty bad memories in it, and it really just doesn't have anything to do with like much of the fight itself, but more like, again, toxic players being, and not just mean to me, but just mean to each other, you know, like sometimes the toxicity, I wasn't even a part of it, and I was just sitting there like watching 2 people fight and being like, why? Oh, also the music is awesome in this. So, meet this guy. He's just a castle little guy. Some sort of defense mechanism. Again, most of these fights are like entering this guy, and you're like, who is he? And it's like, this fight was a lot harder back in the day. Like, this guy is going down very fast. It was really kind of a timed fight. Like, how fast could you try to beat this guy up? That's really what it was. It was like, kill this guy as fast as you could. And of course, back in the day, we didn't even have the gear like even I myself am wearing right now. And now you can wear even better gear than the one Yorva is having right now. And alright, so here's, you know, the next part of the fight, which another guy, the same looking guy, comes down from that platform. And if you did not kill these guys within, I think maybe 30 seconds of each other, they would explode and you would die. Nowadays, it's just so easy to kill that, yeah, see the self-detonate, yeah, it's already gone. Like, we're done. Self-detonate, isn't even a problem, but I remember self-detonate was something to really fear back in the day. Now it's a joke. It's a joke. So, yeah, waiting to get into this fight took longer than the fight itself. So, I'll just take all the loot. Yeah, nobody needs this loot anymore. It's not important. And again, there's no explanation for that first bit. It was like, I guess there's a guy, and then he brought in another guy, and then we killed both of them. And now I'm looking at this treasure chest. Expertly done, adventurer. I liked it when you killed that guy, and then you killed that other guy that looked exactly like the first guy. Yorva's like, I am good at killing guys. That's a good skill I have. Hmm? Well, what have we here? Yorva's like, where did that come from? Where'd this child come from? Sorry, Roundrocks cannot stay away. There's so many new treasures here. I like it. And also, I didn't trust that you're gonna not bring out my shiny. Treasures? Oh, you mean the odd bits and bobs. Well, little one, these machina are yours to take. And some of them are rather beautiful, I must admit. Uplander can tell pretty machines from ugly? Just like Roundrocks. No harming in adding one more to our company, is there? I'll keep an eye on her. The amount of times we let a child into these obviously life-threatening adventures is concerning. We should... Damn it. I was so sure. I was hoping we'd only have to do one part of the raid and then I can go home. Uplanders are unwise to come, but most of all is Treasure Hunter. What she seeks is not here, not in all of Gordias. That is a goblin voice I don't recognize. Stranger danger! The little kitty. Oh gosh, she has a gun. As I live and breathe, quick thinks all thoughts. Master of the Illuminati. Yorva's just sitting here like, that's his name? Gotta be very serious, guys, even though his name's Quick Thinks. Gobbies are backstrapped and bomb dust, or box strapped with bomb dust. We are terrorists. Uplander shoots everybody kabooms. She's like, joke's on you, maybe I want to kaboom. Uplander, ear catches tongue flaps of master. Enigma Codex for plans making is gone. Illuminati are already undertaking Alexander Initiative. Foolish, Gabi. Secrets are kept silent. Tongue flaps never traded with outsiders. Has QuickThinks not ordered so many times? He's like, oh my god, I'm tired of having brain dead mooks. Master, forgive noise making of empty head. I'm just but a 1930s mook that follows around the evil boss. Gabi not think. Please, Gabi will take any punishment, just not worst one, which is death. Now. She said, she's like, don't threaten me with a good time. What? Uplander is shooting Gobbies. She shoots. How can she shoot? Well, she has a gun, guys. And boom does not harm Uplanders. Blood. Uplander blood for fallen Gobbykin. Man, Yorva's like, at this point you guys can only blame yourself. I think now would be a good time to leave. She's like, they're probably not going to explode any more than that. Uplander, what is Enigma Codex? Treasure? Yes, we know. You have a really cool scar. You keep pointing that out. Yes, young one. My treasure. It's my college thesis and I can't graduate without it. And they're like, well, that went poorly. We're really bad at doing this bad guy thing. QuickThinks has to go back and be like, guys, you fucking embarrassed me. We were going to be such cool villains, and then you had to go and do that. Leading Howls face to face with the head of the Illuminati, eh? And he was a loser? Sounds like you had quite an adventure. And this Alexander Initiative has me wondering. Do you reckon it might be the Giant's name? I don't know. No sign of the core, though, eh? Well, we'll just have to look further in. I'll let the chief know anyway. He'll be happy to hear Mead and Roundrox are safe too. Those two haven't stopped talking about machines since they got back. Seems like they got the same kind of machine autism. I can't say I've ever thought of the junk as pretty, but to each their own. Oh, come on, don't you guys tinker with machines all the dang time? Ah, Yorva, ready to have another go at fighting the Giant's core? Yorva's like, I got a lot to fight, Biggs. Wedge, could you... Alright, Wedge, stop listening to that bloody link pearl. I don't care if there's a sexy woman on the other side. We barged through the Illuminati's front door. They've known we've broken their code. But I've just this moment intercepted a new communication. If you give me a moment to... There! It says... Oh. Death to Uplanders! Death to Uplanders! Well, I think we might have started a war. Da-da! It's like, well... What a way to join the next fight. I think we might have started a war, Warrior of Light. This is truly the situation where it's like, I think we're gonna have to kill this guy warrior flying. What does Roundrox have to say? Roundrox likes mead. Trading tongue flaps is such fun. Look, this whirly-cog Roundrox finds 63 moms north and west. And that one was only 10 yalms from Architecton. Shiny chunk and sparkly rocks. Bitty bobs and whirly-cogs. These are a few of my favorite things. My, but Roundrox has a lot of treasures. Not many are much use, but they're all lovely in their own right. She has a fine eye. Speaking of which, do you recall me mentioning that she had described Quick Think's face, and how I assumed she must mean his mask? Well, the more I think about what she said, the more I think she really did mean his face. But how could she possibly tell? Yorva's like, I don't know, they always wear masks. Oh yeah, more things about goblin lore. They can't really breathe our air very well, so they always wear those masks. I can't remember why though. Typically, I know they mine underground much like the kobolds. I can't think of a single time, because I don't think they ever actually made it, but where we've seen a goblin without their mask. The only thing we can determine is that they do, of course, have huge floppy ears that are long, because that is not part of the mask. That is like just part of themselves. So that's not. They let their ears go uncovered, probably, so that they can actually hear pretty well. And they don't really typically have a homeland. They're kind of all over the place. You can find them in Eorzea, you can find them in the east, you can find them in the south, you can find them in the north. You can find them all the way across the ocean to where the Final Fantasy North America is, and South America. But, the Illuminati are the more zealot faction of goblins. Because there's a few faction of goblins that are found around the world, but the Illuminati are, of course, like their namesake, just a lot of hostile conspiracy theory, world domination seeking goblin faction. Oh gosh, here's a morbid fact, because I did forget about this because I'm on the Wikipedia page right now, because I'm trying to figure out like what's up with their masks. I do remember like their masks are important, but it's rumored that if one were to attempt to remove a goblin's mask by force, the act would trigger explosives rigged inside the headwear, resulting in a bloody, unrecognizable mess of both goblin and perpetrator. Again, that says rumor. I really hope it's just not true, but, they are pretty much just never seen without their masks, and, to see their face is, like, forbidden. And I'm not really seeing here, like, I don't know, I could have sworn, like, either the encyclopedia or some book talked about their masks. I also like the sounds of fighting in the background. We're just gonna let them do it. I wonder if they could finish that fate on their own. I'm not sure if anybody else has been around to, like... I don't know, it almost got... Yeah, I think it failed. Well, that's okay, because we just now queued in. Oh, another fun fact. In order to figure out the gender, if it ends in ix, like quick thinks, or slow fix, usually indicates that they're male. If it ends in ox, like brayflox, usually indicates that they're female. Cause, you know. That's why I was like, Roundrox. Only thing that's like Lalafell, you look at one and you're like, how old are you? Whether if you're 12 or 50, you're all the same height, and they don't have facial features to help you figure it out. Oh, Lalafell, it's like, you look at characters like Papalimo that are in their 40s and they don't look a day over 3. So typically with these raid fights, they'll have you fight, you know, just what we call trash mobs. They're just things to beat up for the sake of beating up. This is a little bit of an older mentality of raiding, very closer to, and again, I'm speaking from other people's experience because I've never played this game, but similar to World of Warcraft. And other MMOs. But, where is this guy? There he is. I got left behind. While Binding Coil, Bahamut was like their first raid that they designed for this game. This is what I would call their first major, I guess, raid. Of course, we tripped the alarm, but I don't think that even matters. They already know we're here. So we're fighting Illuminati in this battle. These guys are so nice for waiting on me. So there's these machines that you can steal on this side over here. And I would not recommend going up and using one unless you know what you're going to do with them. And typically, even I, who have done this like a few times, like I don't wanna. I just wanna hit things until they die. Typically, I would leave it in the hands of the healers, because I should say one of the healers. One needs to stay behind and like actually do the healing. But there will be some things that they have to attach. Yeah, there we go. I think it's like bombs or something like that. Again, I don't touch them usually because I can't recall the mechanics. Again, I have no idea where these big machines just came from. They just appear. To be fair, these first few battles just kind of feel like trash mob pulls for the most part. They don't really feel extremely special in any sort of regard. So yeah, there's a bomb on the field, and if somebody in one of the machines, yeah, one of our healers has grabbed a hold of that bomb and is now using that machine to throw the bomb in a safe area where it's not going to hit us. And again, that is why it's recommended that if you grab one of those machines, please know that you have a job to do with it, which is you're on bomb duty. But yeah, this fight is really just you fight some Illuminati. That's it. That's the boss fight. And also, like, be aware of those bombs. They do hurt quite a bit. And back in the day, when again we had weaker gear than even the one set I'm wearing, it was devastating. Again, a lot of these fights can be. Oh boy, what happened? Is there a bomb that we didn't see? The other hard part is, like, there's so many guys on the field, you know. May not even see the bomb, but I think that might have been some enemy doing something. But that's where some problems of Alexander raid fights come in, is that even after years of doing it, without looking at a guide or something, I really can't remember why things happen. They happen because they do. The mechanics don't have clear telegraphs, and also they're not. It's not like the game helps explain why things explode. And once again, the goblins have blown themselves up. Alright, once again, I've made off with all of the loot. None of this loot is terribly important. It's just, you know, why not? Uplander is amazing! Uplander is stronger than 10 gobbies, at least. Yorva's like, what about 20? Why not 30? Maybe 50? So it's like, alright, let's stop. Ah, okay. There you are, little friend. I see still bloodthirsty as ever. I was beginning to wonder if I'd ever find you. Yorva's like, you couldn't hear the sound of explosion and fighting? Big's account left something to be desired, so I thought it'd be best to see the interior with my own eyes. It's really fucking big in here. Yorva's like, it's almost like it's bigger on the inside. A treasure hunter through and through. Tell me, what exactly do you hope to find here? My college homework. Ever heard of the Enigma Codex? It is a book of ideas written some 100 years past. The life's work of one of the greatest technologists to ever draw breath. Within its pages are found myriad wonders. I would say a myriad, I don't know, whatever. From designs for machina and that could operate ceaselessly for centuries to novel ways of culturing cheese. Yorva's like, oh wait, I know all about that. And so does Sid, because he spent time with Brayflox. Even a fragment of the book could bring a king's ransom. But most remarkable of all are the plans for a walking citadel. It was to be a beacon of logic and reason for all the world. Hey, can you explain a little bit on that? How is a walking citadel? Can you imagine like a citadel just comes up and is just like traveling around and they're like, come, get your logic and reason. A walking citadel? Seven hells, we're standing in it, aren't we? The Illuminati's primal took its form from that idea. But I sense that none of this is news to you. You've read it then, this Enigma Codex? The design catered for every needful thing, from warm beds to crops of grain. Or, from warm beds to crops of grain. Yeah, that's what she said. Yorva's like, hold on. I'm having a hard time reading your dialogue. And she's like, my what? I'm speaking out loud. Its occupants would never have to leave. And all in the fortress on feet, impenetrable and ready to move at a moment's notice. The citadel was meant to bear the most brilliant scholars and artificers of the age to all four corners of the world, that they might set about unraveling the mysteries of creation. And this utopia, this shining seat of erudition, was to be called Alexander. Yorva's still over there like, I'm sorry, how was this supposed to like, she's not even caught up on the whole walking citadel thing. That's cool. It's the other stuff. Like, it was supposed to contain all knowledge and just walk around and people were just supposed to figure things out. If Roundrox lived in the walking castle, Roundrox could collect treasure from everywhere. Yorva's like, yeah, we all want a walking castle, okay? Indeed you could, little one, and anything you found, be it junk, forgotten teaching, or lost secrets, would be yours for the taking, because who's going to challenge you in your big fuck you citadel? And what exactly would the Illuminati do with all this knowledge? Make cheese, of course. They would also use it to take control, most likely. Create a world ruled by a few chosen scholars. Unless I'm mistaken, that's why the Illuminati exist. Again, cool idea. How are you ever going to execute it? I mean, even with a big fuck you citadel that has the power of a god, it's still a little bit big to control. Bloody fanatics. Take a perfectly good idea and make it into an object of faith. He's like, God damn it, hate the church. What could possibly go wrong? I can well imagine how people who would have spent decades carrying their homes on their backs might crave a home that could carry them. Such a place would seem like a utopia. The Gobbies are like, it would be nice if home carried us instead of we carry home. But we're not talking about a machine here. We're talking about a primal. And primals will be the death of us all. I don't know, do you promise? I trust you'll be ready when things come to a head, Yorba. Yorba's like, look, I'm here to kill primals. Utopia's happy place? Where there is junk aplenty, Roundrox is happy. Where is very happy place of mead? Again, her fucking scar. She's like... She's kind of like Chunibyo, like... Wherever he is. Roundrock's like... I don't know what the heck that is. What is a he? Like, you know gender? Roundrock's like, maybe. Maybe. Gender? I barely know her. This Enigma Codex sounds amazing. A walking citadel's one thing, but a self-stating walking citadel? Genius! It's just a pity the Illuminati had to go and make a bleeding primal out of it. Yeah, that's kind of a huge bummer. From what I understand, this Alexander was active for no more than a few seconds. That's seconds! And it's nigh drained the hinterlands of Aether. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I mean, like, having control over such a huge thing. It's like, with huge thing comes huge energy source, and it's like, nobody doesn't even have to stop you if you don't even know how to walk with it. But, you know. And, well, imagine what it would do if it was wandering the whole bleeding world. Yeah, and when it runs out of ether, how is it going to walk? I don't think Roundrox realizes how much of danger we're in here. Well, she is 12. Too busy hunting for new treasures. Probably for the best, though, huh? Yorba's like, leave the autistic child alone. Let her be completely unaware, because she has the right of it. We have ourselves a problem, Yorba. Oh, more than what we usually do. But don't worry, the Chief has a plan. Speaking of whom, Chief, over here! Since, like, I was literally within earshot. All present and correct, I see. Good. Something has been nagging at me for a while, Yorva. And I finally realized what it is. It's the cheese. Actually, it concerns the communications wedge intercepted. I'm just hungry, you see. So we know that the Illuminati have managed to establish a base inside the Colossus, meaning they must have also found a way to pierce the magic barrier. Assuming that's the case, what need have they to use the only hatch which the barrier doesn't protect? And why go to the trouble of sending coded messages on how to unlock it? The answer? Spies. Yorba's like, you're getting a tinfoil hat there, spies. It's the government, you see. I believe the Illuminati have an agent outside the Colossus, most likely in Idleshire itself, who is using the hatch as a back door, and not the good kinds that we all love to use. Now, this agent will know we've broken their code and that the hatch is constantly watched. So he won't have been able to use it for some time. As such, he'll doubtlessly be desperate to re-establish contact with the inside. That's why I've cleared the area around the giant's hand. All we need to do now is watch and wait, and follow whoever makes a dash for the hatch. Oh, it's happening! We practiced this! Go, go, go! Chief! Link Pro call from Redrix. He says... He says Brayflox went inside. But she can't be. No, it must be an impersonator. Chief, whomever you met earlier was a spy. Quickly, you've got to get after her. Yorba's like, that can't be true. Brayflox is too incompetent to be a spy. Like, no one can believe Brayflox is a spy because Brayflox wouldn't make that great of a spy, honestly. Alright, so... Part 3 of 4. I wonder if I'll have time to, like, go back and exchange some of these. So you can take all of these goodies... and exchange them for gear pieces. This is for leg gear, this is for headgear. That's just for crafting, I think. Now, the reason why nobody wants these is because, like, the gear is trash now. Like, it's probably not even better than what I have on right now. It's probably going to be, like, eye level 170. But, I might take a look in case there's something cool to wear. Could always use it for glamours. And again, some of my alt classes, may not have access to really nice things, so... But yeah, you can go back to Rowena's Center for Cultural Promotion. Oh gosh, there she is. Go to Sabina here. Okay, so it's 190 gear. Again, I can't imagine. Yeah, you want to look like a castle? You can wear this stuff. So let's see. This is samurai gear. We look like. Oh, that's not too bad. Do remember this stuff looking kind of ugly back in the day, so... I don't even think it's worth it getting a ring, right? Like, yeah, this is purely looking at glamour stuff. Oh, this looks like a crown. None of the stuff I'm like very excited about. I'm like, oh. Again, you want to look like a little castle, like a little wear a dress, and your shoulders are like, you know. Oh gosh, what do they call those little towers? Those little circular towers, ramparts. See, the casting get like little spikies on it, but healing, you know, you gotta be softer, you gotta be friend-shaped, so it's a little bit more armor-plated. Honestly, just like not too bad gear, but nothing that I'm like, oh boy, that's so pretty. These pants are ugly, but like, they're not supposed to be showing underneath that gown. They're just there. I don't know, I guess I'll hold on to some of this in case, like, in the future I might need, like, I don't know, like, an extra ring, but honestly, like, the gear is so low on the eye level that it's just mostly used for glamour, and, I don't know, none of this gear is particularly, like, oh my god, I gotta have it. There's also the Savage gear, which at this time the highest eye level would be 210. And you can get weapons from here, but again, nothing groundbreaking. The only thing that's different is that you can dye these different colors. If you get the normal version, you're just stuck with the color it is. And this will be the next phase, Maiden. We're in Gordias right now. I remember these looking a little bit better. Yeah, these look pretty cool. But again, nothing that I'm like, oh man, gotta have it. Absolutely. That's gotta be like really bulky to wear, you know? Like that's bigger than your chest. You could probably fit that over your chest. Let's see, Maiden, and then... Oh, the bagpipes are back. Again, if you wanted to look like some sort of Alexandrian knight, maybe worth it, but most of it's like, I am not gaga over any of this armor. Like, it's just okay. There we go. Part 3. I think we might be able to dip into Alexander Midas. I don't think we're completing all of the raid in one night, though. We're still on Gordias, and it's almost 8 o'clock. I like that we just stand there. Like, I guess they're gonna run off and do whatever. Again, like, I guess we had a conversation beforehand, like, okay, when we get up there, we're gonna split off. So we're even deeper into the fortress now. We're getting somewhere. This area is also looking kind of crumbly. Again, with how big all of this is, and like all of the resources that had to go into this, why the hell did Charlatan like just build all of this shit and then just leave it? Like, imagine this. Imagine your government creates a huge fortress that could potentially walk. That's how big it is. How much money do you think is funneled into this project? And then you find out later that they just left it because, I mean, it was going to be... truthfully, yeah, it was going to be so much of a hassle to, like, cart it over. I'd be majorly pissed, knowing that they spent like $3 billion on something, and then they're like, yeah, we're just gonna leave it. It's like, I'm sorry, we could have been doing something else. We're in here seeking the peace of reason. Yeah, so, this music was designed by Soken, and I'm not sure who's singing. I assumed it was somebody in his band called the Primals. The Primals usually perform... They usually perform more rockish kind of things like this. They definitely do, like the Titan music. But I'm pretty sure, this is a song for the Primals. Just for those who are not in the know, Masayoshi Soken not only like designs the music for this game, but the had to drop that off, make sure it didn't hit anybody. He has his own band called the Primals, and yes, the Primals are made specifically for this game. They perform music for Final Fantasy XIV. Can't remember if they were called in for Final Fantasy XVI as well, but Soken also designed the music for Final Fantasy XVI. The lyrics to this song are complicated. They are in Gabi speak, and if you haven't surmised already from how they talk in the game, goblins speak in a particular fashion as part of their culture. I'm assuming that's just based on... I want to get, like, linguistics involved in this game, like, how their language evolved, I guess. What is he doing now? Oh, yeah. This song rocks, though. Oh, we're gonna get repelled. Yeah, okay. They got magnet, there's magnet mechanics in this. You have to look at your partner and be like, are we opposites, therefore we're gonna repel each other, or are we... Or, no, if we're opposites, we're going to attract to each other, or if we are the same, we're gonna repel away. Also, I'm not gonna make any comment on Living Liquid here, because he exists. He was in that little doohickey, and he was here. Don't know why. Don't know why Living Liquid cares what he was doing here. He was here. Yoink this stuff. Probably won't even use it. It might be a special tool we could use for later, you know? Okay, just chasing a goblin around. Gabi found it? Good. Knowings of missing piece are with Illuminati. Just us. They just fucking murdered a man right in front of us. Okay. Gabi did well indeed. Well. Okay. This is how you treat those who please you? We're the mob, Sid. What did you expect? Now is realm in chaos. Broken. Machine with too many parts. But Illuminati plan needs one thing. Missing piece to bring world order. Give world harmony. Make world perfect. And what of those who don't fit in your version of perfection, or your vision of perfection? How many must die to pay for your utopia? Now you've really pissed Sid off. He hates it when people use technology to kill people. Killing people is wrong. Don't you see? You summoned a goddamn primal. Sid, like, they even know what that is. It will devour the ether of every land you visit until Heidelin and everything on it is dead. Inside Fortress of Illuminati, Chosen will live on. If inferior on outside die for progress, so be it. This is cost of seeking for knowings. Hells take you in your damn seeking. He's so fed up with people's bullshit, like, all the time. Wise uplanders find happiness in Illuminati rule. Unwise uplanders, utopia does not need. Again, when there's no more ether to funnel into your utopia, what are you gonna do then? You're just gonna hope that maybe you die before that? So it's obey or die then. Ha! The whole concept is grotesque. No, Sid. Like the rest of the ideas set out in the Enigma Codex, Alexander is wonderful in itself. Perfect even. But in the rush to realize its ideals, even the best of us can be led astray. Oh, so once upon a time, these Illuminati were starry-eyed philanthropists, is that it? I love that he just immediately calls her out. And it was only after they got their hands on your perfect buddy codex that they turned into vicious killers. Tell me, was there any passage in particular that convinced them to abandon their last shred of empathy? I cannot speak for the precise contents of the codex, not anymore, but I haven't forgotten everything I read. I think I could stop the core, if you can get me close enough. You think you can, or you know you can? And what if it's a location? What if it's location? He's like, there's a difference between you think you can. Somewhere in the trunk, you know, where she's got a lot of junk. How close we are to that, I can't say. Roundrux can say 2 paces of Roundrux are 1 yalm. So by count of Roundrux, chest of Whirlycog Giant is only a little further. Ha! By the power of autism, she's figured it out. Clever girl. You've been measuring how far we've come from the start. See, this is why autistics are going to save the universe. Alright, I propose we withdraw for the time being. I don't know what will happen when we breach the core, but I do know that we better be equipped to deal with it if we're well rested and ready for anything. Yorba's like, you guys sleep? I never sleep. I'm the warrior of light. All should be well enough. Like, every single time we have a cutscene with her, she's always gotta, like, touch her scar and then say something, like, really enigmatic or something. No one should have the power to choose who lives and dies. The idea is too vile, too insidious to be left unchallenged. We have to act. If we don't, Alexander will awaken, and the Illuminati will be unstoppable. Make no mistake, Yorva. It's now or never. Yorva's over there like, at what point did I, like, ever make any sort of doubts or something? I think I have the knowledge required to shut down the Giant's core, but if I'm to reach it, I'll need you to lend me your strength. Oh. Behind us. Wedge, you're a little bit far away from this conversation. Well, really, the Illuminati's latest message is, well, let's just say it's unsuitable for polite company. There's a lot of war crimes being committed and some slurs being thrown around. I should be much obliged if you teach me those privy mouth savages some manners, Yorva. I was like, well, that fate came back up right next to us. Where there's gonna be some Illuminati fighting a machine over there. Alright, this is the last fight of Midas. Oops, that's not it. I need to go to the duty finder. Again, this is one of those things where it's like cool motive, still murder, but like again, even for your own benefit, can you just sit down and think like, okay, let's say your plans succeed. Alexander gets up on his legs or whatever, starts walking around, drains the whole world of ether. And, you know, self-sustaining or not, or whatever in Alexander, eventually you're going to run out of resources that you're going to need the outside world for. Like, also to say, the ecological damage of draining all the ether from the world, I want to know, like, is the atmosphere going to slowly dissipate and therefore you can't grow crops anymore? Are you just going to say you're going to grow crops inside of that thing? Because maybe that will work out for you for a time, but still needs stuff like sunlight. There's a reason why we need the world. There's just some resources that I don't think you'll be able to just manufacture and keep indefinitely inside of that thing. But who knows, maybe they just think they're different, like all bad guys do. They're like, surely leopards won't eat my face. They just want to create their own little utopia inside of Alexander, live there, and just let the whole world around them just fucking die, I guess, you know? And none of that's gonna go wrong for them, like... But, you know... The amount of times where I think on people's deeds, like, even in real life, where if I'm going to get extremely cynical, which people are typically even better than this, but let's say you just don't give a shit about other people. And you've just proven that, you know, you're just a selfish bastard or whatever. I mean, it makes sense. People are selfish bastards for a reason. But, at some point you just gotta think, like, okay, why aren't you even looking out for yourself in this instance, you know, like, again, I can only imagine at some point, even if they can make that bitch run for maybe 100 years, you know, self-sustaining citadel and all, something's bound to go wrong, and you know it will. And again, if you've destroyed the entire world around it, where are you gonna go when you run out of XYZ resource? Because, again, if Alexander runs off of ether, because, again, Sid is warning them, like, this is a primal. It doesn't run on anything other than the ether around it. Well, Alexander's going to probably power down the moment it runs out of its resource, which is ether. And ether won't recreate itself. It's not a renewable resource, at least not as much as we know. Because all the ether got funneled into that thing instead. And, yeah, what then? What happens to you then? That's why I was saying earlier, like, are you just hoping you're gonna die before that all happens? Like, what if it happens within your lifetime? What are you gonna do? And again, doom all of existence all you want, but, what does any of your knowings, any of your findings, any of your knowledge, what does any of your smarty pants, Illuminati, brain thinking even mean if there's nobody left to remember it and it all just crumbles into dust like it never happened at all? But you know, that would require people using logic, that's beyond, you know, like in this fictional universe, oftentimes there's bad guys that think about this, and then in real life I think about, like, okay, and would leopards eat your face, like, what happens then? But, if they had the mental capacity to think beyond their shallow little thoughts, you know, we wouldn't even be dealing with the problem in the first place, so I just throw my hands up into the air, like, I guess they're just incapable, so... Quick thinks, all thoughts, is more like, quick thinks, none thoughts. Which I believe must be an insult that gets thrown at him, that he's just like, you're not all thoughts, you're just none thoughts. Running around with my fat chocobo. I had the Twintania Dragon mount out, but I was like, let's see what else I could bring out, and I'm like, yeah, my little chocobo here, probably needs to go for walkies. I do feel bad, he always wants, the Gazelle greens. He just never... Like, it feels like fat shaming to dangle all this food in front of him. I like to hope that, you know, once we're done writing, he just goes back to his stable and he gets to have the whole thing. But it's like, no, you gotta get your movements in. You gotta move your body and then nourish it with some food. The worst part is when you fly with this thing, then the other thing you have out to, like... I'm not sure why you need a second stick when you fly on this chocobo, but then you have a piece of cake to, like, I don't know, lure it left and right, but it's like, well, I moved it left and right, you know. I don't know. Not sure about the logic. When we start floating up in the air, this chocobo now needs cake. The way it wiggles. Other mounts. I don't actually have too much on this account. A lot of mounts just come from, you know, taking down primals and doing events and... Could take the Guardsimer out. Actually, I should add that to the favorites. So right now I have it set like it'll only, draw from my favorite mount list, so only these will show up when I hit the mount roulette. This is the button you can set mount roulette to select from favorites only. Otherwise, it would just pull from any of these. Certain mounts, especially when I'm going through like a Realm Reborn and I haven't like done flight yet, there's just areas where it's like these mounts are just too big. Like, look at how massive this is. Like, next to an enemy, this is it. But like these areas, it's fine, because they designed this map along with others to be huge. But Realm Reborn, man, it feels like you can't see with how massive these are. And like, this mount is funny. So this came with the deluxe edition, or maybe this was, yeah, the pre-order bonus for Stormblood. So in Stormblood, they introduced swimming, which was actually extremely underwhelming compared to flight. So this is technically a flying water type mount, but this mount never touches the ground because, of course, it has fins. But it was technically supposed to be our mount that, you know, we take underwater, but honestly, this game doesn't have a whole lot of underwater mechanics. Okay, so this fight. it's supposed to be the most complicated of the Midas because it is the final fight. Not my favorite. One, it's kind of boring. Two, there's some things that can happen that just kill you outright for no reason. She's like, okay, I'll let you beat that up. I'm going. As always, though, the music's great. So again, another castle-looking boss. That again, I can't really explain how or why he's here, but makes more sense than living liquid, I suppose. There's these balls of energy that if you don't absorb some of it, as you can see, that nearly wrecked a player right there. May notice a tank and a DPS got sucked up somewhere into the vents for reasons you just have to fight alone. I don't know if I'll be chosen or whatever. I typically am a healer, and they don't suck up the healers. So another healer mechanic, they have to stay a little bit apart from each other. Like, that might still be too close, but we're not worried about that mechanic just yet. There are some stacks. Okay, so another DPS and tank got chosen to be sucked up into the vents. The healer mechanic I was speaking of, if you're not careful, that will cause a room-wide explosion and everybody will die. It's a very, I'd say very outdated mechanic. One I would wish to see just let go of. Yeah, there we go. We're entering that territory where it's dangerous to be near people. If you have these stacks, okay, yeah, so both healers. If you look at their names, they have a 5 stack of red and a 5 stack of 4. You have to let that number go all the way down. Yeah, we're having... Nobody's dead yet. We're okay. Yeah, so now they're down to 2. You have to let that go down. Do not be near each other, or again, it will explode so hard that it doesn't matter how well geared you are, how much health you have, you will just die, and everybody in the team will die. And it's just one of those things where it's like, you cannot notice it for a while and accidentally kill everybody. But yeah, this is the first fight I will say that this one was too much of a pain in the butt, and I would enjoy seeing them tweak this fight. If it ever comes to that. Gordias complete! Yeah. So these are the Gordias fights. As I mentioned before, these fights are not very... They're not very, like, ooh, like, super exciting, or like, oh my gosh, that boss. It's like, the bosses are mostly just mechina, you know, and random things just to fight, for the sake of fighting, you know. that you can only imagine. They're just the Citadel's defense robots. That's what they are. Oh, we're here, and none the worse for wear. So if you need another pair of hands, just say the word. I brought my wrench. This is the heart of the machine, huh? I knew I should have brought a breaker hammer. Not that I'll be needing it, of course. Isn't that right, Mead? It's like, yeah, you just shoot at it, I guess. Just bang on it a couple of times. How did you climb that thing, though? Can you imagine... try to imagine yourself climbing a spear like that. How are you doing it? We're not gonna think too hard on it. We need to do plot things. But I'm just like... How is it physically possible to climb a spear without some sort of ladder or help? Maybe she has hooks, and we just didn't see them. She just hooked onto it. That's gotta be some extreme, like, rock climbing. I totally skipped over Wedge's dialogue because I wanted to talk about rock climbing. Greater are knowings in brain cases of unwise than quick thinks believed. Perhaps quick thinks judge too quickly. Perhaps Illuminati should study Uplanders. I mean, what did you think we were gonna do when we said that we were coming in here to stop this? Is it before eyes of Gabi? Good. Do not fail. Illuminati have no use for failing Gabis. And apparently successful Gabis too, like you killed that one guy. End of Gabi's long wanderings is close. Even though this is just the first part of the Alexander raid. Maybe it's not that close. Something isn't right. Something isn't right at all. I don't know, Wedge, what gave you that impression? The way Quick Think spoke, you'd think he'd won. He didn't seem too bothered, that's for sure. Do you think he might have planned for us stopping Alexander's core? What was it the chief said again? About the Illuminati finding what they needed to complete their plan? Something along the lines of a missing piece, I thought. And what if Quick Thinks is honor guard? The two dolts who were ever at his side. Why aren't they here? The Illuminati must surely know, or surely have known we were coming. What could be more important than protecting the ladder, or their leader? And the ladder he got up here on, which was a floating thingy. You don't think he sent them to Idleshire, do you? While our backs were turned, like... He wouldn't do that. That would be, oh, come on. Everybody's running and Warrior Light's just staying there like, I'm tired. I don't want to run. Well, here we are. Red bricks. Giant loses power. Uplanders succeed. Never mind that, man. Did the Illuminati come? Is the Idleshire safe? Is it on fire? How does Uplander know? Yes, many in Illuminati came to take stuff of Gabi flock. Great was chaos. But suddenly Illuminati go and take only junk not worth jingly shine. They came barging in, ready to start a war, and then scampered with a handful of bleeding junk? Hold on a minute. Where were they last seen? Rubrix thinks near shortstop. Oh no. Roundrox! Come on! She's always got really neat stuff. I'll go and find the chief. He'll know what to do. Or not. Either way. He's gotta help us out of this mess. Uplanders are gone too long for comfort of Redbricks. Shortstop is place of clashings with the Illuminati. Illuminati are up to no good. Maybe using confusion to do foul things. Uplander must go and see. Make sure all is well. Redbricks is like, they've been gone too long, and Yorba's like 30 seconds? He's like, yeah. She's like, I don't even think they're even there yet, but... I think Warrior of Light is like, why didn't I just go with them in the first place? Why did I just sit around on my ass? They probably stole the Lisa Frank poster. Is everything still as we found it? They haven't come back, have they? No, they're gone from now. And everyone seems to be fine, physically, at least. But Roundrox... They took all of her jug. It's all gone. All gone. Poor thing. The Illuminati took everything. I'm just glad she was off collecting trinkets with Bactrix when they came. I daren't think what might have happened had she been here. Nobody likes a home invasion, Roundrox. We'll figure it out. Come, come, little one. Dry your tears. I brought you this dead man. One thief, unconscious. We found him lurking near the edge of town, not far from your treasure, Roundrox. Uplander brings treasure home, thanks to Uplander. Many, many thanks. It was all Biggs, little one. He had a feeling a few soldiers might be lurking around, waiting to ambush us. And this is what we stumbled onto when we went to look. They're really fucking dumb, you know? But why did the Illuminati take Roundrox's collection in the first place? Surely that can't have been their goal. Oh, well, you see, they wanted the Lisa Frank poster, Wedge. I wouldn't be so sure. Or I'd guess, I'd say the Illuminati believed something they wanted was hidden amongst Roundrox's pile of trinkets. Rather than waste time sorting through them, they decided to take the lot. But when they squinchily realized they didn't have what they were looking for, they crept back into town to wait for a chance to seize whatever it is they actually wanted. What if Bad Gobbies wanted most favoritist treasure of Roundrox? One that is safe with Uplanders. The sparkly stone! You mean the glowstone that Yorba borrowed? But of course, it's been sitting in the decoding machine all along. And yet they didn't take the decoding... They didn't take an important looking machine right there. Yes, Roundrox would be sad without pretty glowstone. It is special treasure from near Old Castle. Rusty one that was left by Uplanders from before. Wait, what do you mean from before? Roundrox, were you near the Charlatan ruins when the metal giant first appeared? Yes. Roundrox saw a whirly-cog giant stand 3 years ago, but was only for a little bit, and big gobbies do not believe Roundrox. 3 years ago, when someone tried and failed to summon the primal. Oh my god. A fragment of the Codex. Of all the places in the realm. It's like, hey, you also failed to mention, Roundrox, that this carries a hologram? Only a fragment of the original? So that crystal must be the Illuminati's missing piece. I hit the button, but it didn't go. Oh, it's a good thing the Illuminati are dumb as shit. And didn't think to take the decoder machine. They have stopped their primal and taken their prize, but our foes are not about to admit defeat. They'll be back, and out for blood, like as not. Yorva was like, as it is, as it typically goes. But we've got you, Yorva, and I'm sure you'll be ready for the onslaught when it comes. Yorva's like, well, I do have a katana. I just suggest you make merry till then. Yorva's like, well, I don't know what you expect me to do. Like, make some hot chocolate and dance around the pole or something? I don't know. I'm glad Roundrox has her treasures back. I only hope it doesn't place her in further danger. You wouldn't believe what some would do for just that small fragment. I was like, well, it does make a really cool little hologram show. Roundrox is happy. Many friends worry, think of Roundrox. Uplander's one. Roundrox thinks kind Uplander. But let me chime in as well, Yorva. Roundrox's home needs protection, and you provided it. Not many would do that, and certainly not in the face of a primal. You have my thanks too. Me'd help Roundrox too. Uplanders have good hearts and kind. Only so many of us find Machina pretty, my dear. We have to stick together, don't we? I don't know, there seems to be a lot of people. I'm surprised that Sid and his team, like, aren't fawning over it, because they fucking love machines. Even if they are kinda ugly. But did Mead always like whirly-cogs and bitty-bobs? I like you, Roundrox. My love, he adored the things. Inventing, building, and tinkering with them. He'd always touch his hurt mark when remembering. Do I? Well, I suppose I do. Those times were something else, little one. My friends and I, we were lost in our dream. We thought to put back the pieces of the broken world with logic, reason, and technology. And we were certain we could do it too. I hadn't much skill with thinking up things or making them, but I helped in my small way. And that feeling of aiding in someone else's dream, sharing it, washes over you like a wave of happiness. Never felt that way since. Now it all seems so far away. Even the memories feel like I dreamed them, rather than lived them. Oh, enough of that. Roundrux is right, adventurer. You're a kindly soul. Keep an eye out on our girl till we meet, will you? And like, here, I have even more bolts. Just a free one. Alright, well, we only have 30 minutes left, so I think it would be appropriate to end right here and probably start the next episode on just Midas. That way, you know, we won't go over time, because, like, if we have to wait, you know, a while to get in. So, yeah, I think we might have to do just, like, one episode per, but there are 3 parts of Alexander, and our next part will be Midas. And then again, I'll be working on the binding coil situation, and then we can go on to patch, I think it's 3.4 and 3.5. I should say the next patches of Heavensward are more segue pieces into Stormblood. They're going to be leaning a little bit more of the Stormblood expansion. So, hey, hello, welcome. Here's the tail end. I just finished up with the last fight, so I'm discussing what our new plans will be going forward. So, there's 3 parts to Alexander. We finished the first part. I recommend watching after this is over, or at least listening to. So, on Tuesday, we'll start the next part, Midas, and depending on how much faster that goes, then we might have a 3-parter to this. And do the last part, which I believe is just called Alexander? I don't know. So the next 2 patches of actual Heavensward, I'm using this part, this not solo mode, we're doing raid mode now, to delay, as I figure out, I spoke about this at the very beginning, Kate. You need to do Binding Coil of Bahamut to change the cutscene that is about to happen with Alize. Binding Coil of Bahamut, of course, is Alize's questline in Aromaborn. So if you don't do it, Alize treats you basically as a stranger because you don't even know her, really. But if you do it, she knows who you are because you've hung out. So, again, I don't know which one would be better for Yorva, is if we just go, nope, she's a stranger, or if we do the route where she knows who we are. So the next 2 patches will be more leaning towards Heavensward, or not Heavensward, Stormblood. We're now done with Heavensward plotline. Now the plot is looking towards a new era, a new chapter of story, and we're going to see how do we end up in the events of Stormblood? Like, how does that happen exactly? So please consider these like as a nice little segue, introduction, and anything. And as for our raid, I would highly pay attention to some of the lore of Alexander, because that may still be coming up in other expansions. Alexander's lore actually has a lot to do with the world around us, so yeah. I have also decided to nix doing the mock or the Void Arc raids, simply because after looking back on them, they actually don't have anything to do with main story quests, so I will not be doing them in this series, but I may go back and do it later at another time. But it'll only be Alexander. We won't be doing the mock raid, so. Alright, well, everybody have a good night, and I will see you on the next episode come Tuesday. I will see you.